In the end of hunger and cold, I came back to life. I stocked up 100 boxes. And 100 boxes of frozen Dabaizugao. I also removed the insulation layer in the villa. And removed all the rubber strips from the windows. And replaced the air conditioners with tight ones. I'm not crazy to do all these. But because the uncle's family who kicked me out. The uncle's family who froze me to death also rebirthed. At this moment, a sound of a plane propeller came from the monitor. Followed by a broadcast. Dear residents. Now airdropping supplies. Please take what you need. Be civilized and courteous. And don't grab. What? There's still airdrop? They never had this in their previous lives. Hearing the airdrop, the 4 people in the room were overjoyed. And ran out one after another. This can't be done. What if they survived? Soon, the 4 came back. But the supplies they brought back. Only a pitiful pack of compressed biscuits. And some instant noodles. It seems that they didn't grab much from others. This makes me feel relieved. Something is better than nothing. They all opened and crushed the instant noodles. And ate them hungrily. They finished it in no time. They were still a little unsatisfied. They were tempted by the compressed biscuits. Uncle Dan directly put away the compressed biscuits. We don't know when the next airdrop will come. We must eat sparingly. I'll keep this pack of biscuits for now. Although they looked unhappy. But they didn't say anything. But I know Uncle Dan very well. On the surface, he seems fair and impartial, but in secret, he did some sneaky things. Sure enough, when everyone was asleep that night, the uncle crept out of bed. He took out a compressed biscuit and ate it. How could I let his good family miss this good show? I directly pressed the alarm button of the monitor. In just 1 second. Which was enough to wake up those who were already light sleepers. Before the uncle could react, 3 pairs of eyes were staring at him. Dad, how could you eat alone? There are so many people here who are hungry. The one who caught his breath directly took the biscuit. Although the uncle was caught. But he still insisted that what's wrong with me eating a few bites? I'm your father. And the head of the family. I can eat as much as I want. How dare you teach your father a lesson? After that, Uncle raised his hand to slap Tang brother. But he never expected that. Tang kicked the uncle in the stomach. Tang was tall and strong, while the uncle was almost 60 years old. With this kick, the uncle flew out directly. He fell to the ground and passed out. The aunt was shocked, crying and hitting Tang's shoulder. She shouted, "That's your father. How dare you hit your father?" Tang also looked a little guilty. But Shi Hengxiang suddenly held Tang Ji's hand. She stood on tiptoe and whispered something in Tang Ji's ear. The next second, Tang's face became a little struggling. And finally he seemed to have made up his mind. He walked over and picked up the uncle and walked towards the door. At this time, Uncle also woke up. Seeing this, he immediately panicked and shouted, "I'm your dad. Let me go. I'm sorry. You eat too much. And you're old. You are just a waste of resources now. Just consider it as your last contribution to your son. I'll code out to you later." After that, Shi Hengxiang walked over and opened the door. Tang wanted to throw the uncle out. Aunt cried and stopped Tang brother. "Mom, this is something we have to do. Otherwise we will all be doomed. Just help me this time. I will definitely be a good son to you in the future. Please, Mom." After Tang said this, the aunt was stunned. And her strength in her hand also loosened. She turned around and stopped watching the cruel scene. You are all beasts, and I won't let you go even in hell." Uncle was thrown out of the snow screaming like that. And closed the door. Just like I was thrown out in my previous life. There was the knocking and wailing of Uncle outside. But the sound quickly weakened and finally and disappeared in the howling wind and snow. Auntie cried heartbroken. "Lao Li, I'm sorry for you." My cousin walked over and hugged his aunt on the back and said softly, "Mom, don't worry, I will take good care of you." Auntie was stunned and nodded. But in the next second, He picked up his aunt and threw her out the door. And threw her out. I was so scared that I dropped my phone on the ground. I never thought that my cousin would do this. He was so cruel to his own parents. The cry of my aunt came from outside the door. Gradually weakened. Until it disappeared. Hell is empty. Demons are in the world. I felt rather uncomfortable. So I started to reduce the number of times I checked. Wonka hasn't gone out for a walk for a long time. It looked at me with a depressed look. I've been repeating the same actions of eating, sleeping, and watching dramas. I used to look forward to eating and sleeping. Eating and sleeping. But when I experienced it firsthand, I found that this life is really not for people. I feel like I'm going crazy. I don't know when this weekend will end. After more than a week, I turned on the monitor again. They robbed the airdrop again later. This time, there were only 2 of them, and they got less. Only 1 bag of instant noodles. They had already eaten all the compressed biscuits. They divided the instant noodles in half. They put it in their mouths numbly. Maybe that's it. But being with Shi Hengxiang makes me feel no regrets. I have no regrets. Tang held Shi Hengxiang and buried his face in his arms. Don't say such silly things. We will definitely get through this. You go to sleep first. Shi Hengxiang stroking Tang Ji's head. So, Tang fell asleep peacefully in her arms. Dear. Seeing that Tang didn't wake up for a long time, Shi Hengxiang suddenly showed a vicious look. Who wants to be with you? Go away, I tell you. I will live well. Then, Shi Hengxiang suddenly took off Tang Ji's clothes and let him fall asleep in the endless cold. It's so warm. Shi Hengxiang, are we saved? Suddenly, my cousin gave a happy smile. But his eyelids still didn't open. I knew it was a sign that someone was about to freeze. How could I let you do as you wish? What you did to me in junior high school. Even if you were cut into pieces. Then, I pressed the alarm button of the monitor again. The siren blared. This time I let it ring throughout the room. What's making that noise? Shi Hengxiang was startled and hurriedly looked for the source of the sound. And my cousin was also woken up by the sharp sound. He opened his sleepy eyes and immediately became alert and immediately put on his clothes. Finally, his eyes locked on Shi Hengxiang. Why did you take off my clothes? Do you know I would die here? Didn't you say you would be with me forever? Didn't you say you would die with me? Why did you betray me? My cousin was so angry that he lost his mind, with no love in his eyes, replaced by endless hatred. No, listen to me explain. Shi Hengxiang was scared and trembled. She wanted to escape from here, but was tripped by a northeast board on the ground and fell straight down. I love you so much. But how did you repay me? Brother Tang followed her and picked up a northeast dabao and smashed it hard on Shi Hengxiang's head. 1, 2, 3 times until Shi Hengxiang was completely silent. I held the monitor. My hands were shaking. Suddenly, my cousin turned around, staring straight at the monitor. I looked into his eyes, which made my scalp go numb. Sinner, you're watching, right? Watching us kill each other must be very exciting, right? Then he gave a creepy smile and picked up the northeast dabin and made a gesture of slitting his throat. I will definitely find you alive. I will make you pay. Although I was 10,000 miles away from him, but his ghost-like roar still made my heart almost jump out. At this moment, the wind suddenly picked up. A deafening cracking sound rang out. Suddenly, I found that at some point, the music I described had been blown away by the blizzard, revealing a huge hole. Almost instantly, the blizzard filled the entire living room. The floor reacted solemnly, and the whole wall collapsed. The wife couldn't dodge, and was heavily pressed to the ground by a large wall. Save me, sinner. Come quickly. I heard my cousin's painful roar from the monitor. But I didn't have time to see more, because the surveillance stopped working completely. The revenge was avenged. I felt so empty. At this moment, I suddenly heard the sound of a propeller. The next second, a broadcast was heard everywhere. No tears of joy. Dear residents, the rescue team has arrived. Now we will clear the snow on the street. Please take refuge in your own homes. After everything is properly arranged, we will take you to a safe area. I opened the window and looked at the helicopter in the sky. With tears in my eyes, I'm finally saved.